my name is Catherine Markey, and this is one of my favorite pieces. During my sustained investigation, I researched deities from across the world, female deities specifically. This is the Greek mythological figure Medusa, and her pose right here is similar to a very famous statue of the god Perseus. He is the man who slayed Medusa and held her head as a prize. Now, the reason that Medusa was considered a monster and was slain to begin with was because she was cursed by the goddess Athena for defiling a temple. However, in a modern retelling, which is a whole thing about my sustained investigation, is modernly retelling deities' stories, is that Medusa was actually a victim of sexual assault by the goddess Poseidon. So I kind of reversed the roles and kind of switched up so that she is in the place of power in this story, and she's holding the head of the monster in her story, Poseidon, who is the reason why she is deemed a monster now.
So this is my piece titled Emotional, and I took the statue and I tried to make it feel more human-like, more than they already are, by making them bleed and then like the flowers to make it seem almost natural. And I also put it in a case to make it feel like it's trapped almost, and just like a mixture of emotions, because flowers typically represent like happy things, and then blood represents like injury and like sadness most of the time. And then the case represents like feeling trapped or anxiety. It's based on my sustained investigation, fantasy versus reality, which uses surreal aspects to turn natural things more unnatural.
So this piece here is showing the positive and negative intentions or opinions on the world, seeing more of a good wing or evil wing pulling apart the earth. You can see represented with the wool here, actually pulling the earth and starting to crack it. It's basically explaining how we need to be more of agreeing with each other to not cause these cracks and these overall just bad intentions on the earth. We need to be agreeing rather than having two contrasting opinions, and just overall no one's getting anywhere. It's hurting everyone more than helping.
So usually my work is pen and ink, and this year I was trying my best to do different mediums and have the concept pick the medium instead of myself, because if I had to pick, it would all be pen and ink, but I do that every year. So with this one, I use pen and ink for the body itself and less so for the clothing, to emphasize more of the actual body. And I normally do really high detail with really small pen, and I decided to actually leave out some detail in the face, and I think that I actually ended up putting more expression into the face, which I loved because less work and it looks perfect. And then I had the skateboard here, and I wasn't sure how I wanted to make it stand out from the background and from the figure. So I picked a piece of poetry paper, and it says, "Beauty is but a painted hell," because he obviously has fallen and it's probably not heaven for him. But finding beauty in all the small moments is what my concentration is about, so it fit the piece perfectly and added a warm tone, and I just added a little bit of charcoal and it matched perfectly.
This is my favorite piece. It's called Whispers in the Basement. I even have a slight little paragraph about this. Not necessarily how I did it, it's actually a little creative writing piece about it. However, this is by far my favorite piece. I've spent the most time on this one. This was actually the jewel of my art project. I did it with white charcoal, and it's actually a representation of my hand over my face. I could probably go like that just to show you guys. But yeah, definitely my favorite piece out of my year, and good year.
This is my North American bison. It is my favorite piece because of the texture on the top. It took me about 3 or so hours to put all of the different texture on the top of the piece. And it's just my overall favorite because it took the longest to do, but in the end it came out the best.
My favorite piece is these chairs I drew. They were actually nominated for Principal's Choice. It didn't win, but I can still put that on my resume, which is very nice. These were in the beginning of the year, and they're my favorite mostly just because I got to use both black and white charcoal, And honestly, this was the first time a white charcoal worked for me well, and I actually enjoyed it this time.
So this piece is called The Flame of Prometheus, and usually depictions of Prometheus bringing down flame to man is usually him on its own, kind of like he's already on this great quest. But there's not really a depiction of him giving it to man, and so I wanted to create a piece that showed that.
This piece represents friendship, and it's my favorite piece that I made personally because I really love all my friends and everything that they've done for me and everything that they've helped me get through over the past year.
So this piece is of me punching my face. This is one of my favorite pieces because I put the most, not really the most time into it, but effort was definitely like scaled up tenfold compared to a bunch of other ones. A new technique, new medium, new paper, a lot of new stuff, made it work somehow.
This is my favorite piece just because of how much like time and work and dedication it took. And it's also inspired from one of my favorite albums, Live Through This by Hole, their like Smash It album. And I wanted to like just capture the whole vibe of the album in this little octopus. There's no reason for like why it's an octopus, I just felt like it. But this is it, it's just my favorite album, favorite piece. I love it so much.